Councilor Del Marina Lopez is on Zoom. We also have President Councilor Franklin Fram, Lee Puglia from Planning, and our attorney, Dan, and Agnes from our office. All right. So in compliance with the open meeting law, this meeting is both audio and video recorded. If anybody else is in the audience recording or audio video recording, please state so, your name and reason for recording.
Mr. Chairman, let the record reflect that Councilor McAuliffe is on over Zoom.
Recognize Councilor McAuliffe on Zoom. So there are presently two councilors on Zoom. Councilor McAuliffe and Councilor Lopez. Okay, so agenda items. The first on our agenda is an application under Chapter 275-9 for the purpose of renewal of a special permit granted on 8/11/20, requesting relief from the following ordinances. From Section 275-23, requiring restoration to be completed within 12 months. The petitioner was delayed by insurance claim issues, legal issues involving tenant possessions, and access to the damaged building and building code enforcement. On that special permit from the past, Section 275D 1C multifamily dwellings from 30,000 square feet to 19,199 square feet. From Section 275D 3.2, front yard setback from 20 feet to 7.5 feet, average. From Section 275D 3C, rear yard setback from 30 feet to 10 feet, average. From Section 275D 3.5, depth from 200 feet to 91.6 feet, average. And from Section 275D 8, side yard from 20 feet to 6.5 feet, average. Located at 38 to 52 Front Street. Applicant PAH Properties LLC, Corey Chevenert, if I said it right. 12 Anoush Drive, West Springfield. Okay. So is there anybody here for public input on this matter? Okay. Are you the applicant? Close. Right. Yeah, that's not public input. All right. I know this permit has been approved in the past. It's just a renewal because of obvious issues, which are understandable. But just for the record, you can just give us what you're doing again for the new people on the board.
Of course. Good evening. My name is Jacob Anoush with Corey Chevenert here. We are looking to renew this special permit that was issued, like you had mentioned, about 2 years ago. I think it expired about a year or so ago. We're looking to bring this 8-family property that underwent a fire, and we're looking to rehab the building and bring that property back online and restore it to its former glory and put it back on the tax revenue.
Chris, are his mics working? Because not hearing him overhead, and probably not hearing it on Zoom.
Yes, it is. What's left of it, right?
We can hear him on Zoom.
You can? Okay, thank you. So I'll make sure. You know how it feels. All right.
Thank you.
So, any questions? I know it's something we already approved. Councilor Flam?
Yes, I'm glad to see this being done. I think the blue tarps are just about had it. They're ready to be taken down now. They're flying all over the place. This is going to be a good thing for the neighborhood. So again, 2 years ago, we were going to do this project, and then it was put on hold. And I'm looking to see that it go forward, and I'm going to support this when it comes.
I'm going to support it because, you know, if you guys would have done this in the last couple of years, I imagine your costs would have been astronomical. The prices went up. The time the fire happened, then COVID hit and everything. So, Thank you.
Yeah, I'll briefly run through my memo just so you don't have to read it into the record because it is lengthy. So this is a project. What's really important about this special permit is that under residential C zoning, the council has the ability to waive dimensional requirements for projects. In particular, it's critical for this project because this particular building is part of a historic district. It's historic mill housing that was associated with Cabottville. And from planning perspective, we'd like to preserve as many of those structures as possible within that district. So for that alone, we would support, again, waiving the dimensional requirements and allowing this project to move forward.
Councilor Lopez, anything to add?
No, I'm in support of this.
And Councilor McAuliffe? Joel, unfortunately, I have to ask you to unmute.
Joel, can you unmute?
Sorry, I'm having unmuting problems, but yes, I can.
Any questions or
Nope.
comments?
Forward, I support in favor.
Recommending this.
We can no longer hear what's happening in chambers.
Oh, you have a mic.
So you're satisfied with the conditions on the special permit being addressed by engineering and also the fire department?
If those were the original conditions per the previous approval from 2020, then yes, we were comfortable with that.
Okay, yeah, August 9th, 2022, from the fire department, it says, please resubmit fire protection and detection plans. And from the engineering department, it says the street occupancy permit must be obtained for any work or staging in the city right of way.
Yeah,
So
those are
everything-
pretty standard comments for those departments for a project of this scale.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I was going to read those into the record, but since they already have, I won't have to do that. And any other questions?
Can I make a motion?
It's ready for a motion. Oh, well, I did that before they spoke. Anybody else for public input? All right, so I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve unless, Councilor Zagorowski has a comment?
No, I think it's a good idea because it's gonna give us much needed apartments. It'll give us much needed apartments for residents and also, get us on the tax roll. So I'm in favor of this also.
So we have several motions. We have to motion and
Yep.
vote on each of the waivers. So first waiver, number one, from section 275-23, requiring restoration to be completed within 12 months. The petitioner was delayed by insurance claims, legal issues involving tenant possessions, and access to the damaged building and building code enforcement. Take a motion on that.
Motion to approve.
Please sign in favor on my
And
behalf.
I second. Yes, I'll be calling everybody on Zoom. Agnes, can you take the roll?
Dan, is there restrictions on these, Dan, each one?
Yeah, we're doing every single waiver.
Yeah, but shouldn't we say with the restrictions?
I
Because you're
just
not
did.
saying that publicly.
Oh,
I didn't hear it for each one, it should say
Yeah.
restriction.
it's one at a time. I read the first one. We got 6 more to go.
Yeah, but did you put with the restrictions?
The first one doesn't have a restriction.
Once they issue the permit, we'll be subject to.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Okay, Agnes, can you take the roll?
Kushein,
Yes.
Piniac Costello,
Yes.
McAuliffe,
I got it. She can have it.
Yeah, thanks. Nice name.
McAuliffe,
He's muted again.
Yes, sorry, my mute button keeps getting stuck. I'm in favor, no comments.
Lopez,
Yes.
Zagorowski,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
Vote is unanimous in favor of the first waiver. Okay. Waiver number 2 from section 275D 1C, multifamily dwellings from 30,000 square feet to 19,199 square feet. The motion? And,
with all the restrictions.
yeah, motion to approve and seconded to accept with the conditions. Agnes, can you call the roll, please?
Kushein,
Yes.
Piniac Costello,
Yes.
McAuliffe,
Yes.
Lopez,
Unmuted.
Yes.
Zagorowski,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
Thanks, Gary.
Okay. Waiver number 3 from section 275D 3.2, front yard setback from 20 feet to 7.5 feet average. The motion to approve
Motion to approve
with conditions.
with conditions.
Second, to approve with conditions. With my scribble. All right. And motion number 4 from section 275D 3C, rear yard setback from 30 feet to 10 feet average. Take a motion.
Motion with.
Second, motion to approve with restrictions. Agnes, take the roll, please.
Kushein,
Yes.
Piniac Costello,
Yes.
McAuliffe,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Zagorowski,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
Yeah, make it. Sign up. Yeah.
All right. And number 5, from section 275D 3.5, depth from 200 feet to 91.6 feet average. Take a motion.
Motion.
Mr. Chairman, I didn't hear you call a roll call waiver 3.
No? Oh, Agnes, call the roll, please, for number 3.
Thank you.
Actually, number 3 or number 4?
3.
Last one was
3.
4.
3.
Okay.
We didn't do 3. Kushein,
Yes.
Piniac Costello,
Yes.
McAuliffe,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Zagorowski,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
Number 3 passes with unanimous vote. And number 5, waiver from section 275D 3.5, depth from 200 feet to 91.6 feet average. Motion.
Motion to approve with conditions.
Motion to approve a condition, seconded. Agnes, can you call the roll, please?
Kushein,
Yes.
Piniac Costello,
Yes.
McAuliffe,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Zagorowski,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimous. And waiver number 6 from section 275D 8, side yard from 20 feet to 6.5 feet average. Take a motion.
Motion to approve with restrictions.
Second motion to approve with restrictions.
Roll call.
Agnes, roll call, please. Thank you.
Kushein,
Yes.
Piniac Costello,
Yes.
McAuliffe,
Out of chair. Can we say out of chair?
He's no longer in the Zoom.
He's trying to get back on, and he voted yes on this one.
I think we just have to
Yes.
put on a chair then if we can't hear his verbal yes.
And if he,
Can you just call him up and have him speak on your phone?
yeah, we can do that. We can do that, Joel, right, Dan?
Sure.
Verbal? Okay, let me.
Verbal is verbal, doesn't matter what
We
form.
got four to
Get
Yeah.
it back on. You have to say your vote, yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Thank you.
Zagorowski,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
And unanimous vote. Alrighty. So, special permit, to be granted with all restrictions, applicant shall comply with all SPRAC requirements and comments as evidenced by a written communication from the Director of Planning. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second motion to approve with restrictions and conditions. Agnes, can you call the roll?
Kushein,
Yes.
Piniac Costello.
Yes.
McAuliffe.
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Zagorowski,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. Unanimous.
Yep. Okay. Motion is unanimous. That will go in front of the full city council on September 8th. Thank you for coming in.
Starting this project, just curious.
Number 9.
And how long?
Exactly. You said it.
How long?
If you
will
tell
it-
us to go right now, we'll get the guys over there tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
How long will it take you to get it where?
We're hoping for a 6 to 9 month turnaround, weather permitting. We gotta rip that roof off,
It's
so
supposed to have a mild winter, suppose.
mouth to God's ears.
I don't believe the weather.
Dan, it won't be ready September 9th, isn't there a waiting period?
Yeah, so there's a 10-day,
10 days.
obviously, you know, like the clerk's office will have a 1 to 10 day expire. The mayor signs it, the 10 day starts ticking.
Thank you very much. Perfect. For your help. Take care. Have a good night.
Luck.
We can run with the land, right?
Mm.
Right. Okay, item number 2, special permit application under 275-27-1 for the purpose of construction and installation of a 120-foot tall monopole tower located at 939 Chicopee Street and installation and operation of a wireless communication facility The waivers requested are section 275-27.1 of the zoning ordinance in connection with screening. Applicants Blue Sky Towers, the third LLC, care of Prince Global Type LLP. Attention Adam Braillard Esquire, 1 International Place, Suite 3700, Boston, Mass. Applicant is here. Yep, so just a name and address for the record.
Great, thank you. Members of the committee, Adam Braillard with Prince LaBelle Tie. We're at 1 International Place in Boston, Massachusetts. Record for the applicant, Towers. A couple folks that are with my team tonight. First is Jesse Marino. Jesse's with Proterra. Proterra is the architectural engineering firm of record. Any questions that the committee or the public may have in connection with architectural engineering?
If you want to set up right in the middle, the camera will be able to get you.
Just so the public can see as
Oh,
well.
well, yeah, yep. Either one or the other. We don't get both. It's public or Zoom.
Yeah,
Well,
what
public-
Jesse said, yeah, thank you.
Do you like it in the middle?
Well, it's gotta face that way for the public, so over there on the side will probably be better.
What he is setting up is are the plans in connection with the application, which are on tab
No,
4
no,
of the application package that we submitted. Also with us tonight is Sohail Usmani. Sohail's in the back there. Sohail is with C Squared Systems. C Squared is the radio frequency or RF engineering team that AT&T engages with to study their radio frequency and their coverage plots. So we are here in connection with a special permit in front of the council to install and operate a 120-foot monopole style tower located at 939 Chicopee Street. It's located within the industrial zoning district pursuant to the city's code 275-27-1. The use and the proposal is permitted by special permit from the city council. In terms of the need, applicant Blue Sky Towers has engaged with AT&T and FirstNet, and I'll discuss FirstNet real quick. I think everyone knows AT&T is one of the major wireless carriers in the United States. AT&T and FirstNet have performed a radio frequency analysis. AT&T and FirstNet, they've performed a radio frequency analysis of the city as a whole, and specifically from the area of where we're proposing to install the tower. And they've determined that there is a significant gap in reliable service coverage, both with respect to coverage and capacity, and that this proposal, the tower at 120 feet, will adequately cover that gap. So the need for AT&T is really 4G LTE coverage, and the need for FirstNet is its coverage in general and its broadband network. So FirstNet is a national public safety broadband network. It is a national network for public safety and first responders. And what that organization does is it piggybacks on AT&T's network. So this is kind of it's AT&T and FirstNet. So first responders and public safety personnel are able to utilize this type of technology if AT&T has capacity there. With respect to the actual proposal, so as I mentioned, in the proposal can be found, and if people are following along with the application package, tab 4 are the plans, and tab 5 are the photo simulations. We did extensive set of architectural engineering plans, and we did it's actually a view shed analysis or photo, which include photo sims. The proposal is a 120-foot monopole style tower, so that's a single tower that would be located on the property, centralized on the property, centralized so that it meets all the setback requirements that are that are in connection with the regulations and also Mass DOT requirements for setback from the train tracks to the southeast side of the property. AT&T and FirstNet are proposing to install approximately 9 panel antennas, or 3 sets of 3 panel antennas, each at the top height of 120 feet on the tower. The tower will be designed and engineered to hold up to 3 additional carriers, so 4 total carriers on the tower, as required by the bylaws. If anyone's going to build a new tower in town, the city requires that it's co-located. At the base of the tower, there'll be a fenced-in compound, 48 feet by 62 feet, fenced-in compound with a 8-foot chain link fence. And within that will be the AT&T FirstNet's radio equipment and cabinetry, as well as ancillary power and telco conduit and possibly a generator. I got to check on that. There's one change that we did make to the plans, Jesse. So in the application package, we show the public way easement right here.
We can no longer hear what's happening in chambers.
So it was in addition to the set of plans, which is we show the underground power and telco coming from the street, which was not in the set of plans. So that's the original set of plans. So that's the only difference. Those came in very recently, and we wanted to show the public.
We can't see anything.
So that's a change in the set of plans that that I believe I think the original application package was submitted back in on June 22nd, I think it was. As far as the applicant did an extensive alternative sites analysis, which is basically where they looked elsewhere, and that's also in the application package under tab 9. And there's a number of different locations where AT&T FirstNet and Blue Sky looked to see where they could either install antennas and or install a tower. And basically, there's basically 4 real criteria that needs to be met in order to move this type of development forward. The first is whether or not it actually works from a entitlements or city municipality regulatory standpoint. So can we find a location that meets the setback requirements, that meets all the other type of requirements, the special permit requirements associated with this type of installation? This location does. The second piece is, can you construct it? And you can construct a lot of things, but there's no ledge here, or there's no significant determinations that there's an issues with the foundation, building the foundation. So we believe that it's certainly constructible. The other 2 are, does it work from a radio frequency standpoint, and is it leasable, or is the landlord or the property owner willing to lease or allow the applicant the rights to be on the land? And the answer to those 2 questions obviously is yes. The radio frequency engineer is here. We provided radio frequency plots that show AT&T's existing coverage and what the coverage would look like with the proposed installation. So, like I said earlier, this installation as designed would cover the app and reliable service. So I think with that, I'm sure that there's some questions, but we're here to answer any questions that the public, that the committee, that the council has in connection with this.
So first, I'll open up the public input. Do you guys have any questions for them? You just ask me the question, and then they'll hear it and answer it. I thought that might help you out. Yeah, so.
I have a question, actually.
Name and address, just, yeah, I gotta talk to the mic. You can grab a seat right there.
Okay, so I have a question.
Name and
Laura
address.
Perla, 36 Blanche Street. I obviously live right on the edge of the property. I can see the woods right there. My question is, what's the environmental impact? Because I know from personal experience that there's a breeding doe that lives back there. She's always there with her babies. There's countless other small game. There's a murder of crows that have that as their area. So I just want to know what's the impact for them. Because obviously, I know, I like the wildlife. I like
Right.
that our little section of Chicopee has those woods there. We don't find it much, especially down in Willimanson off of Chicopee Street. So that's what I would like to know. So if there's any studies been done, is it wetlands? Is there anything they can do to preserve that, preserve those animals?
Answer.
Sure, the part of any environmental impact that I believe, I don't know of any environmental impact, that a tower does have on, birds, I'm talking about. In fact, I've seen towers that end up having nests on top of them.
That's what I was thinking.
Which then, Massachusetts says that you cannot then touch that tower during the breeding season. So if anything, that's what my personal experience with that type of, with the environmental impacts with birds. I think the only other environmental impact would be, any tree removal, but we've located this in a location on the property where there's very minimal tree removal, if any. There is existing, structures, temporary structures that are on the property where we're locating this, compound. So my understanding is that very little, if any, trees will be removed from the property.
And this, to further answer your question too, possibly, one of the waivers is about screening. So they're gonna use the natural screening that's there. So that means they're not touching anything because they want, instead of putting up screening, we're gonna use nature screening. So that probably has very minimal impact then because of that. So that could be, yeah. No, it's good.
There's not many places where we have wildlife in the city.
Oh, yeah.
We really,
Yep.
what we do have, we want to look out.
Yep, just name and address.
Name's Anthony Perla. I also own 34, 36 Blanche Street, also 27 through 33 Blanche Street. So I got multiple parcels on that street. And I don't know if it's just me. I printed up things this morning with cell phones in the area of your residence. You know, and I've gone through multiple different things on the internet saying it decreases your property value up to 20%. Okay? Because people don't want to live near a tower. I'm just curious, you know what I mean? Is that going to degrade our area as far as the value? I know it's zone industrial down there, but you have a lot of residential, okay, abutting all of that. You know, in that area right there, a buddy of mine just sold his house here, first 3-family in Chicopee for $450,000. I got a 4-family down there with 3 parcels attached to it. What's that worth? How much money am I losing as a taxpayer in 2 separate parcels down there? That's just my question for the board and for, you know, you guys happen to know, how bad is that going to impact us as property owners? I mean, if they build this tower, are they going to make it look good? Are they going to put up, like, you go to certain areas of town where they kind of make it look like a pine tree? You know what I mean? I'm all about people making money in business. I agree with that. Is it more revenue for the city? That's what I'm kind of like looking out for. You know what I mean? I just don't want to degrade what's worse down there. You know what I mean? It's like, I kind of like that one little section of Chicopee. You got all the woods back there. My wife was saying, like, the deer. There are deer back there. They come back there all the time. I mean, I even saw a little bear down there. It's so, you know what I mean? So it's like a little piece of like what we like. It's our home. I've lived there for 25 years. It was my first apartment down there, and I've owned it ever since. And I am now raising our 2-year-old and our 6-year-old down there. You know, God bless me, but you know, I just wanted to bring that up to. It's a concern I have owning 2 pieces of property Am I looking at it as a loss? Okay? If I decide to sell these pieces, is that gonna hurt the money out of my pocket? You know what I mean? Is the town gonna assess me for less? Do you know what I mean? That's my question to you guys. And it doesn't have to be answered today, but that's something I'd like to take into consideration. Is that gonna hurt the abutting people right around it? And I appreciate them putting it away from the woods. I gotta say thank you for that. I'm not against, I just wanna work with people. I don't wanna be like, oh, you're not doing it. I don't wanna be like that. I'd rather work with people. But am I gonna get a decrease in my value due to the tower? Obviously, AT&T's gonna make money. You know what I mean? It's like, are we gonna take a hit as a budding, especially I have 2 parcels, so that's one of my concerns as a being on the citizen.
Probably have to ask the assessors that, but,
Yeah.
I wanna,
name and address.
Vladislav Morozov, 44 Bland Street and 37 Bland Street. So I'm actually just wanted to say whatever he said, I wanna to be behalf of that as well. That's all.
Thank you. We can check that out. You'll see when I read into the record or planning chimes in that the minimums and maximum rules, they've exceeded that. So they're well under minimums or maximums and they're well over minimums, if you will. So hopefully that means it's not gonna be that obnoxious and, degrade your property value, but we'll have to find out from the assessors that. Yeah.
From our property.
We're just talking to the mic.
So basically, from our property underneath, what zone was it on, 25, 1, 2, or so, there's one zone where it's residential, so they're gonna leave, if it's a 120-foot tower. 200%. So it's gonna be 200% away from abutting residents. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep, so
Okay.
that's the exceeding the minimum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
It's great, yeah.
No, I don't know, I'm not.
No, not too
I
often
didn't-
we have a project that does that, that's for sure.
Correct, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Also, Mr. Poole, anything to add?
I can take you through my comments if you're ready, Counselor.
Yep.
So you have a memo from the planning department here. We reviewed the requirements of the zoning ordinance against what's being proposed. Their fencing, as proposed, exceeds our minimum requirements as established in the zoning code. The applicant is asking for a waiver of the screening requirement. Typically, we require a evergreen hedge to surround the fence for the facility itself. In this case, because it's being built into a natural area that is treed, I would support waiving that requirement with the condition that the remaining vegetation on the site be preserved to act as that screen. Setbacks, I believe, based on the analysis provided, is met. The 100 feet plus 10 feet of the tower from abutting non-residential parcels and 200% from a residentially zoned parcels. They've noted that they are planning for co-location, which I believe most of our towers in the city have. Their tower height is 120 feet. That is below the maximum height that we allow, which is 190 feet. And then the zoning code does require a $20,000 bond be submitted to the city prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the facility. So you should consider a condition of approval if you move in that direction to ensure that that bond is submitted to the city. But otherwise, Councilor Crashane, I'm sure you're familiar as this is your ward. Cell service in Willimantic is poor, to say the least. I will say that because my family also lives down there and they live in the dead zone that is Clark Street. So anything that improves cell service in this neighborhood will also be a support to our own public safety department to rely on cell service when they're in the field.
Right, and if I can comment, as the ward counselor who spent a lot of time on Sequel Fix in the field, I have to wait till I get home to connect to something so I can submit pictures now, and that's with Verizon. So 100%, we do have a lot of dead zone in Willimantic all the way out to Irene Street. So this certainly will provide a public service, not a public safety purpose. But I'll read into the records from fire. There were no comments. From engineering, As an additional note, we do not have a record of 939 Chicopee Street. This parcel of land, the applicant is for is number 929. If the applicant would like an additional address number for the cell tower location, they will have to go through the engineering department. Additionally, from the engineering, any work within the city right of way shall require a street occupancy permit, utility connections, etc. Drainage is directed towards railroad tracks. Mass DOT should be contacted for review. Proposed view photos do not address the viewing angle of direct abutters, 841 to 865 on Chicopee Street, especially without tree foliage in the winter. And there is no comments from zoning. And Mr. Pouliot read in the planning department's comments. Any other questions from the council? Oh, I did. Hold on. Council Lopez and McAuliffe, any questions or comments?
No further questions.
All righty. So we have two motions to be made here, one for the special, or the waiver, and then one for the special permit. So let's do the waiver first. It's not on there. All right. All right, so not even on here. No, waiver requested section 275-27(1) of the zoning ordinance with screening. The waiver is to be used the current foliage as the screening. Your motion or
Motion to approve with the current foliage as a special condition.
Okay, so waiver number 1, zoning ordinance in connection with the screening to allow the use of natural and existing foliage. Seconding it, I'm just reading it since I had to write it out. All right, Agnes, can you call the roll?
Kushein,
Yes.
Piniac Costello,
Yes.
McAuliffe. Lopez,
Yes.
Zagorowski,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, motion was unanimous in favor. And give me a minute because I have to write a paragraph here. permit to run with the applicant. All right, so motion to approve special permit for the purpose of construction and installation of a 120-foot tall monopole tower located. That's a question. Did you correct your address on that? Have you applied for 939, or do you want to change it to 929?
Went off of the property card, right?
Yeah, the tax card shows 939. I have a copy of it here. I'm not sure.
My data in GIS also says 939.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, we'll do an also known as just to cover you.
okay.
Having to go through this again?
Yeah.
Okay, so 939, also known as 929 Chicopee Street, Chicopee, Mass. 01013, and installation of and operation of a wireless communications facility. So, with restrictions of a $20,000 bond submitted prior to installation and issuance of certificate of occupancy. And the applicant must comply with all department requirements and comments as evidenced by a written communication from the Director of Planning. Take a motion.
Motion to approve with the conditions.
Motion seconded to approve with conditions and requirements.
Kushein,
Yes.
Piniac Costello,
Yes.
McAuliffe, Lopez,
Yes.
Zagorowski,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
Oh, no, I just want to get your info. Thank you. Right, so the vote was unanimous in favor of the cell tower. September 8th will be our next meeting. It'll get voted on by the full body, and then you'll be issued, is there a waiting period on this?
Right.
Because it's a special permit. So in 10 days, you'll get the official. And that's it for that.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Motion to approve the minutes of July 27th, 2022.
Motion and second to approve the minutes of July 22, you said?
July 27th.
July 27th.
Kushein,
Yes.
Piniac Costello,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
We have to.
McAuliffe, Zagorowski, Labrie.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Roll call and then, yeah. For adjourn, yeah. Okay.
Second motion to adjourn.
Kushein,
Yes.
Piniac Costello,
Yes.
McAuliffe, Lopez,
Yes.
Zagorowski, Labrie.
Yes.